I miss you, Chad. She will hug once again. And yeah, I imagine Anna will likely tease him about his hair a couple more times. Do you also tease him about the hair and such? Okay. In that case, it's gone the next day, by the way. Like literally the next day when you see him. He says nothing, by the way. Nothing. But yeah, Elstro, also the next time that you see Connor, or the next time that you see Warren, his hair and he's also cleanly shaven. Actually cleanly shaven, not like boat ride cut. So he's got something a lot more normal. And she's editing the sprite as well, or the little chibi. He's absolutely weak.
That's the expression Elstro gives him. Just like kind of like a smile.
And he just looks at you and says, I don't want to hear a word. I don't want you. Don't look at me.
I didn't
don't
say anything.
You don't need to. It's in your eyes.
My scary golden eyes.
Vaguely threatening. I don't want to hear it.
I'm not saying anything.
And he just walks away. But no,
Anna.
And Anna like looks up at from whatever she's doing.
You won the bet.
And she just smiles and says, "Oh, I know." And Warren just frustratedly leaves to go take care of his Pegasus. Huff. He's absolutely weak, though. That was one of the caveats. I'm like, if Connor says anything about his hair, it's gone.
Also, Brent, Elstro gave Warren the Pegasus. Connor gave Elstro. So, because she thought he would take care of her better.
I mean, he would. But yeah. So, as you guys prepare for everything that's happening, meanwhile, just a week later, over the horizon, you see a number of dots beginning to come into play. And within short order, the Zodian fleet begins to come in. By this point, you guys were able to bypass it, but the Legolan Navy has actually blockaded the ports in the area, and so it's been a little bit difficult to
ram it
to get through things. That said, as the Zodian fleet approaches, a few of the Legolan ships begin to move into position to try and intercept. Some of the smaller vessels go in to begin to intercept, and there is a brief firefight with cannons and magic and such. Some of the wyverns are deployed, but it's not very long before the blockade, which is still getting into position, backs off as the Zodian fleet punches through. And as these skirmishes kind of wrap up, Connor, you watch as the 24 ships flying the Zodian flag, as well as Captain Varro's ship, kind of loosely out of formation, begin to come in, and they all begin to weigh anchor and set their lifeboats out. The Atlas has to drop anchor a substantial further distance from the shore. And yeah, and as the ships kind of get ready and as the skirmishes kind of break out, um, as you see the sea begins to kind of fill with black, as all of the boats with all of the individuals begin to row closer towards the shore. There's a there's a and there's the a resounding roar that echoes out of the shore and taking to the sky towards you, Connor, as you and probably everyone is kind of like anybody of note is to see them. You see three winged figures making their way in this direction. One you would recognize as Misty atop Symphora, and near her is also flanking the figure in the front is Cygnus atop his wyvern, and in the center of it you see Cecil with Orion astride her as they fly in, and as they ride in. By the way, most of the native Legolans that have gathered to watch this fucking invasion fleet land have literally never seen a wyvern in their life. They've only heard about them. Maybe play with a toy or something. And now not only are two wyverns coming, but also a Manakete. And so you guys hear a myriad of gasps and murmuring, and as they fly in, Etni's eyes kind of widen, and she just says, "By the 3 and 5, that's her, isn't it?"
I don't know. I've never seen her actually not human before.
That's her.
And by the way, the Connor, not too far away, as soon as they come into view, the gatekeeper and the other priests of Dristan, they immediately clasp their hands together and start muttering prayers and such as they come in. And yeah, the three of them land on the pier. Cecil landing with a start and kind of like taking a couple steps as she kind of slows down, and Orion dismounts from atop Cecil, and as Cygnus and Misty do the same. And Orion looks out to all of you guys, and he sees you, Connor, and he smiles.
Did you leave anyone behind in Zodia?
Certainly a few, yes. Sorry we're a bit late. I hope we're not too late.
Nothing's really begun yet. Well, there's been a lot of scouting.
And he's gonna come up and he's gonna give you a good solid handshake. And Seesaw, I'm assuming you're also going to untransform.
It'd probably be for the best.
So as you turn into a human, people like there's a lot of eyes on you as you walk up. And actually, yeah, Delphine, if you would have come up on Ferdinand, you probably very well could have as well.
Hell
So basically,
yeah!
anybody who's got flying mounts very well could have been in the first wave.
I'm gonna tackle hug my brother.
And so, yeah, as you land shortly thereafter,
That's my favorite hashtag.
and
Dragon discomfort.
it'll take some time for us to all to get all of our people disembarked. But we've brought enough provisions and additional supplies that hopefully we'll be able to ensure that our foothold that your already solid foothold from the look of it is even more secure.
You're looking at just about all of it, really.
Well, it's certainly better than what I had feared might be the case.
Yes, I am at least not underneath a rock.
Yes. Then I suppose we must count our blessings.
Once you get everything on shore, I think we're gonna have to do the first meeting.
Yes, I understand there's likely much that we need to be appraised of. But I believe that we're prepared for it.
Plus, given and Elstro gestures to the boat, or not the boat, the ship.
The dreadnought.
It's a boat. It's just a big boat.
They're given a move made this massive. It's only a matter of time before Arcanon makes their next move.
Most certainly. And Eddie nods and says, "I was concerned about the same. Skirmishes have already been able to break out. As far as the thing is concerned, I dare say that a fleet landing at our shore is a good opportunity to begin this war in earnest." And Orion looks to her and says, "I must assume that you must be Etty Mercer, yes?" And she nods. The very same. It's a pleasure to meet you, King Orion. And she'll bow and she'll offer him a handshake. He'll of course reciprocate. And that must make you Cecil.
How tall is Etney?
She's pretty decently tall. I think she's like 5'8", 5'9".
All right. Cecil looks up at her and she offers a low and respectful curtsy, and it's good to meet. It's good to meet you.
She kind of eyes you up and down. You know, Alstro told me about you, and yet I still find myself at a loss for words. Exactly. Welcome aboard.
Turning to like Connor and everyone, and thank you for having me. And she looks apologetically at Connor and rubs the back of her neck. Though I promised I wouldn't come ashore.
I think we're well past that.
She nods, but it's good to see you again. Though if you look, she is wearing the necklace that you gave her, or the pendant now strung upon a chain.
It's good to see you as well.
And yeah, Misty and or Delphine, the two of you guys can also take this moment to say something. I'm basically gonna have everybody get a short scene here, and then we'll roll on to the next thing.
Oh. Okay. Well, flying on Ferdinand, probably close by Misty. I would assume. Maybe. Yes. Question?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna fly near Misty, she will let you fly there. Yeah.
So, flying with not my mom. Yeah, just kind of would land Ferdinand as safely as possible, hop off, give him a quick pat, let him know everything's okay, and then literally, like, run up to Connor. Connor! Like, attempted tackle hug.
Hi, Delphi.
I missed you!
Did you get taller?
did. Mhm. You haven't gotten any taller, have you?
No, I don't think I'm going to.
Maybe I'll get to be as tall as you.
I certainly hope not.
You never know.
Sure enough, and he just kind of smiles at her.
And George Shieldheart will also step forward, and it's good to see you again, Delphine. I'm glad that you made it back safe.
Big hugs for not Dad. Dad.
Though there is someone else whom you might want to see again as well.
Oh?
And Warren will slink up from the corner of the dock.
Delphine's eyes grow wide. And
They're pulling out all the stops. I hear they'll hire anyone on on their side these days.
no words, just tackle hug.
He like gets ready for it, and he like grabs you as you hug him, and he definitely twirls you. And he
Best day ever!
It's good to see you again, Delphine.
It's so good to see you. I was so worried.
Yeah, well, thanks to your brother, maybe you won't have to worry about it more.
Does that mean are you two okay? Are you friends? Are you what? What's going on?
Well, he he shoved me into the ocean, so I guess that's for what
Well, that
that's
means you're friends. It's okay.
worth. It's all right. I already got it. I got him back.
Oh?
He forgot that clothes stay wet. Let's just put it that way.
Connor, how could
he
you
gives
forget
you-
that?
He gives you a wink and says, "So, you ready to help us fix this wayward nation of ours, Delphine?"
I don't really know what I don't really know what I can do, but I'm sure gonna try.
Well, once we're all done here, I think we probably need to make sure that you've been improving on your aim. After
Oh, don't
all,
worry. I have.
good. I'll be the judge of that, but good. He says with a smile.
I don't think you'll be sorry. Or blah. I can't even words today. I don't think that you have to worry about that. I think that you will be impressed. Mm-hmm. Just please don't ever ask me to shoot an arrow at you for you to try and catch. I learned the hard way that is not a good idea.
What? And I imagine you'll tell him that story. And a few moments later,
From a distance, Cecil sighs very deeply.
a few moments later, by the way, George would look to you, Connor, and look over to Delphine and Cecil. As Orion, as you guys are just kind of like probably disseminating the information that's happened, and there is one other thing that we wish to discuss with you, Delphine. And from what I understand, Lady Cecil, you would also you would also be more than capable of assisting us in such a.
Me?
And he passes the microphone proverbially to Connor.
Well, we need someone to make a new flag for us. And I can't think of two better people that we could.
What do you have in mind for a flag?
And I'm gonna like project the image of the flag.
Ooh, that looks very nice. Ugh.
Hold on, let me find flag thing again. I have it. It's called flag. Or wait, no, it's called gear ponies. That's why I couldn't find it.
Gear pony, gear pony.
Gear ponies and gears and ponies and gears and ponies and gears.
No, wait, never mind. Look at it. Cecil comes up to it, inspecting it, and there is an uncharacteristically kind of smug smile on Cecil's face because bitch loves needlepoint. Basically, like, and that's my favorite. And well, are you certain you would want someone like me to do
Connor gets the biggest grin, and absolutely.
And Cecil
Orion matches your grin like, ooh, I like the way you think.
Cecil doesn't quite smile, but there's a wobbly determination that makes her way on her face, and but it smooths out into absolute confidence, and 1,000 years of needlepoint should serve me well.
I can see why you would want Cecil to work on it, but why me?
Oh, I mean, if you don't want to, I mean.
No, I didn't say that. I just don't know why you would want me to do it. I'm just me.
And somewhere along the line, you're not exactly sure when it happened, but the gatekeeper had approached your group, and he almost answering says, symbolically speaking, if you are, and by the way, as he says this, even though his face is like actually obscured, he's like basically like bowing and looking down, like throughout this entire thing, is his heavily cloaked figure approaches you basically. Symbolically speaking, Princess Delphine, it would be a great symbol for the very first flag of our nation to be wrought by the hands of not only the youngest of the family that created our great people, but also you see like his, even though you can't see his face, but from beneath the chains you can see him kind of like regard Cecil for a moment and says, and for you to team up with one who has been branded a monster by our faith for so long. Such a statement would be in line with everything that Prince Connor wishes to say. We have gathered and blessed the first materials for you. May they serve you well if you choose to take up this mission.
Well, what do you think, Cecil?
I feel like you blink and she's holding a needle and thread.
Well, if you're in, I'm in.
Also, while I certainly don't have the well, she thinks for a moment, the culinary expertise that you do, I'm quite certain that somewhere, that meeting in the middle, on top of everything else, we'll most likely need to burn the midnight oil for a bit.
Well, and you would probably be much better at the needlepoint, but I can get the big pieces sewn together.
Cecil nods. And she smiles, and Delphine, this is your country. I'm here to assist. She smiles and nods.
I guess I'm just not used to being trusted with big decisions. But I am 14 now, so I guess I can make big decisions.
Cecil makes a face like, "Oh, humans are cute." And
Hey, this is I'm not gonna get super, like, I'm not gonna live that long. But, I mean, it's better than nothing, right?
I think I'm allowed to enjoy my friend's company. regardless of their age. She says, but if you'll have me, I'd be happy to offer my needle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as that happens, the boats begin to come in, and yeah, we'll go ahead and we're gonna go down the line, and basically, I'm gonna give everybody the opportunity to have some brief scenes with people who they're reunited with. Misty, actually, let's do Misty's first because you're already there.
You certainly made progress here, Connor. She says, and then immediately approaches and hugs him.
Oh God, who am I being hugged by?
Misty.
Oh God, there's a giant woman.
All I wanna do is see you turn into.
Really impressed by the progress you've made.
What happened to your eyes?
Well, hello to you too, Connor.
No. There's no way you thought I would notice immediately.
Well, no, they're rather obvious. It's a story I'll explain at another time.
I'll hold you to that then. But it is good to see you.
Good to see you as well. And then she's gonna hug him again and also say, by the way, Symphora has a couple new tricks.
I'll have to see those for myself.
She would probably just like do the rounds, so she actually knows quite a few people because she knows George, she knows Anna.
Yeah, you met all them, so yeah, you would be reunited with all of them.
And like, she would introduce herself to Etney. Most notably, she introduces herself as Mistral Borealis. She does do that.
Oh
That's
shit!
weird.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Pretty sure Cygnus just shit himself in happiness.
Oh, he heard it, by the way. He definitely heard that. Like, there's a strong lady handshake between you and Etney, of course.
And there's an immediately camaraderie because we both have axes and we're both strong women.
Oh god, yeah, you're right. Amazing.
But Misty did kind of glance over in Cygnus' direction just to see his reaction. She didn't purposely do that loud.
And as I imagine that at some point Cygnus and George Shieldheart are just gonna have a nice like talk, like as this is all happening. Like he'll introduce himself, of course, and yeah, but no, he definitely, like, you decidedly he was mid sentence when you said that. He stopped for a moment, and then he continued, but he definitely decidedly stopped for a moment, and there was a smile, by the way, and he looked at you, and George noticed, by the way. And obviously, when he introduced himself, like, okay, clearly we can piece these two things together. Also, it's like, interesting. But I imagine as you introduce George Shieldheart to your son, your 12-year-old son,
Yeah.
he can probably piece together a couple of other pieces.
So, George, this is my son Venturo.
And I think I see.
Had a discoveries back in Zodia.
He looks over to Cygnus. So it seems. I'm glad to hear it.
And she's also going to give George a good...
Yeah, we'll hug it out. We'll hug it out. And as this is all going, But as you guys start to go, some of the crowd is also like is watching all of the people come in and all of that as this is kind of going about. And by the way, Connor, it was also important to notice that Lisa
Hold on,
Meadowbrook.
he doesn't have his headset on.
Oh, okay.
He's back.
The young girl whom you saved, by the way, she's definitely here. Her and her father were both some of the people who came to Dalhurst and were a part of this. So by the way, like she definitely would have at some point come up and would have like spoken with you and thanked you again for saving her. And has definitely been helpful and such, going about trying to pitch in wherever she can. And yeah, would you have told her about your or about Delphine at all? Considering they're nearly the same
Probably,
age.
actually, because they're like the same age.
Yeah, like she's maybe a year younger.
Oh,
And
am I making a new friend?
most likely.
Hell yeah.
And so she'd be around, and at some point she would approach you, Connor, as you were like talking to Delphine, and Connor, is this your sister?
Yes, it is.
And so this young girl approaches, and she smiles and, hi, my name's Lisa. Connor, he saved my life back when he was first leaving. He told me about you, and I wanted to introduce myself.
Connor, you saved her life?
Hunter just kind of shrugs.
Well, that was very brave. I'm sorry that something was going on that you had to have your life saved, but I'm glad that you got to meet my brother because he's really cool, and now you get to meet me and I get to meet you. Hi, I'm Delphine.
And she smiles. I mean, it was my fault in the first place. I wanted to help him, so I just was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I'm just glad that everything worked out, and it's great to meet you.
I don't know exactly what Connor would have said about me, but I hope it was nice things.
I'm assuming it was good things.
Oh god, I definitely would have told at least one embarrassing story.
And
Why?
she
Why do you
giggles
like this?
and she says, "Yeah, it was all nice things. Don't worry." But there's a twinkle in her eye.
Can I see that? Like, is it an obvious twinkle?
It's an obvious twinkle.
Connor, what did you tell her?
Truth.
What did you tell her?
Why are you so worried about it?
Because you don't have to embarrass me.
Yes, I do.
No,
I'm an older brother. That's my job.
it's not very nice.
Oh, but it's certainly fun.
Isn't being embarrassed part of being 14?
I didn't sign up for this.
Cecil smiles.
Eventually, you just learn to own it.
I didn't sign up for being embarrassed.
You never do.
Yep.
Are you telling me that all of you went through this?
Yeah, we were all
Yes.
14 at least once.
I don't remember
Yep.
ever being embarrassed in my life.
I don't know. Well, that's because you're like born without a sense of shame.
I also don't remember my time
Um,
when I was 14.
Misty, actually, I think you were probably kind of embarrassed when you found out that Ven snuck somebody on the ship.
Less embarrassed, more rethinking my entire life up to that point.
Your son snuck on the ship.
Nearly
And-
helped my son snuck onto the ship.
And at that moment, Ventura will come up. His hair's gotten a little bit longer now, just because they've been at sea for a little
Oh
bit.
gosh, he's
Cute.
And the mop. And he looks to you, Connor, and he says, "I did. I know I wasn't supposed to, but I did. But I promise I'm gonna do all I can to I'm gonna do all I can to make sure that I help both you and King Orion. All right?
You're her son, right? And he kind of like bends his head towards Mistral.
Did the hair give it away?
No, I think that the sneaking onto the ship gave it away.
I feel so attacked right now.
The truth often hurts. And then Connor's gonna like ruffle his hair and say, "I'm sure you'll be fine, though."
And he smirks and says, I know. I've already started practicing with my father. So if anyone gets any fresh ideas and tries to attack the fleet, I'll be ready to help. If I have to, of course.
Misty just raises an eyebrow at him.
But at the time being, I've mostly been mastering running messages and mopping a lot. And but I promise and then Ven stops for a second. And standing a little bit behind you, you notice Connor that he kind of like stopped, like decidedly like interrupted himself and kind of coughed for a second. And he blinks for a second before he comes back to the conversation at hand. And Connor, it doesn't take much for you to follow where his eyes went as you hear Lil behind him laughing at what happened here. And yeah. That was pretty blatant. But yeah, he continues like he finishes up what he says, but he he kind of clears his throat and I should probably go back and check to make sure that
You sure you don't want to stick around and meet everyone?
I mean there'll be plenty of time to do it. My father probably has some things that I'll have to take care of.
Ven, love, there's a lot of people I know. Don't you want to meet your mom's old friends?
And Ven, come on, we have new people to meet so that we can have lots of fun and make new friends.
Connor, what's your little friend's name? Looking at Lisa.
This is Lisa!
She kind of like leans like out from behind the crowd and she waves. It's nice to meet you. And Ven just looks at her and just says, "Hello." Like, pretty painfully awkward, and he blushes a little bit. I mean, if you're all right with me talking with everyone for a little bit, Mom, then I mean.
I don't think your father would oppose. Misty says, pointedly, like, sending a glance at Cygnus.
And he shrugs and indicates that there are plenty of ships that need to come in before anything is going to happen anyways, so. And it would be best for Ven to not get run over by all of the soldiers moving their shit anyways, so, okay.
See, Kat? Ven and Delphine were not meant to be.
Well,
Ven and
okay, 'cause
Lisa, though.
You might be brother and sister, so.
But yeah, Hoden, you also the boat that you're on is close behind, also with Hiei on it, and so you guys will be able to disembark as well on like the first wave. Most of you guys will be disembarking on the first wave.
Is the ground still shaking for you, Hiei? Because like I'm fairly confident this whole island isn't moving, but my legs don't seem to agree.
I try not to think about it. It was nice when we were further up, but being this close is infuriating.
Well, turns out I would have been a poor pirate then, I guess. Good thing Orion picked me up. And Hodin's kind of looking around, trying to see, because most of these faces are probably new to him, and trying to kind of get stock of who's who. And eventually sidles up to Orion and like kind of stands at a semi-post next to him.
And yeah, you'd be obviously like introductions will be had about everything.
Is Rintu here?
Yeah, I imagine she is.
Yeah, I'm here.
You would definitely you definitely would have been able to piece together who she is.
Yeah, like, and at that, like, he's like, you're here. That's good.
Well, she was looking out because she is obviously looking for two people, and then just like,
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm Sir Sarah Hod.
just gonna look at him confused, like,
Sorry,
do I
there's.
know you?
Well, you don't, but well, you've got quite a following back in Zodia, and I mean, you're half the reason I joined Orion, anyways, because want to help the. I'm just gonna stop now. Anyways, it's good to see you. And he is.
She's gonna look to Wes and just like, what?
And I feel like as he looks to you, like I'm not exactly sure either. Is Cecil like giving him like Cecil? Yeah, go ahead and.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind popping in on this either.
Yeah, go for it. Okay.
Because last time I saw you, we were being shipped in separate directions. Cecil noting this, makes her way over, and Hodin, I think you're doing fine.
Well,
Just remember to take a breath.
Yeah. Brinzu, there was a strong following in Zodia that was left by Laird and the candles that burns for you, and well, basically, it's sparked a movement of trying to free Togwell and Lagus from captivity, and well, it seems half the job has already been done. So, in short, it's good to see you, and yeah.
And you do know that a couple of them came here too.
Oh, right.
Though your story was unfortunate in what happened, which I'm glad to see you're well. She looks at Rinzu. Still a little nervous, but she offers a smile. But
She'll smile back at hers.
You're
Good to know that you made it out too.
Your story most definitely helped. She sort of leans in quieter and almost shields up with her wings just a little bit, like not enough to like keep it just to crowd the sound. Your story helped to get Prince Leonar's attention in the Confederacy as well. The Confederacy is behind liberation, and half the reason I'm here. So
She kind of looks at you confused because of my story.
Cecil nods, and what that awful. She shudders. What that awful day was able to prove was that this is more than one nation's problem. And I did want you to know that there's support across. There's still there's support across the sea. And she smiles at you.
It's good to know.
And with time, hopefully Ambassador and Tarsia will be here too. But again, thank you, Rinzu.
Oh my god.
And yeah. Aw. But yeah, as this all happens, which I imagine this is very much like a fluid, like as everybody's kind of going in, people are helping people move in and such. Speaking of which, Rowan and the other candles, they probably stayed on Varro's ship, so as not to cluster up too much. So they actually have, like, they paid for the voyage and such. And so Rowan and like the four other guys that she came with from the candles, they actually disembarked from their vessel, and they're suited up. They bought all sorts of equipment. She brought some of her old guard attire that she once used, and she would approach you as well, Rinzu, even just for a brief moment, and she would, smiling warmly, she would say, It does my heart good to see you. It does my heart good to see you safe and sound, Rinzu."
She's gonna give Rowan a hug.
And she'll give you a hug. Though I'm glad that we do not have to fight for your freedom. I dare say that we will commit our meager contribution towards helping to make sure that others do not suffer as you did.
Thank you.
And she smiles. My husband was regretted not being able to come, but his attention was needed elsewhere. But I shall write him and make sure that he knows that he need not burn the candle any longer.
She'll nod and smile.
And she'll smile, and she'll give you a brief bow before turning back to help the rest of her basically kids, because like she's decidedly much older than any of the other three that came here. The three of them are younger and much more traditionally fit. She's a retired soldier that is coming out of retirement to basically, yeah, come on kids, get in the van. We're going liberating. And yeah, Alstro. Was there anybody in particular that you wanted to catch here? I imagine you and Connor would share a nod and probably a couple of passing words that he's glad that you're here safe.
Or you mean Orion?
Or sorry, yeah, not Connor,
Oh, I
Orion.
was like, what?
Sorry, wrong
Nice
prince.
to me? What?
Sorry, yeah, I that was Orion.
Everything.
Yeah,
Sorry, wrong person.
Wrong prince.
Everyone's a
Or
king.
king.
Sure.
I'm not a prince either.
That introduced Davian to his aunt.
Oh shit.
And I also gave Davian the rundown that Renard probably won't be a problem.
Yeah.
Given he was certain things.
Yeah?
Last thing we need is more enemies.
What'd you say?
Last thing we need is more.
Also, Jacob, you can be there too if you want.
And
like, we're
so
all here. We're all on the same fucking duck.
well, in that case, the first thing that I imagine you did, Davian, and we'll interrupt this at whatever point you meeting at now. But I imagine we all know what the first thing that happened was. Your parents and John were probably like with each other, and I'm pretty sure that you, Nate, and Sylvia all basically great for them.
I'm probably like bumping with Nate, just pushing him back, and he's pushing me back as we're
I
running.
want you both to push each other off a dock.
We're just gonna end up pushing each other off a dock.
And as Nate runs up to his dad, and Sylvia there too.
Ooh, she's not gonna like the colors of that outfit.
I don't know if she knows what that means, so it's okay.
Oh, okay,
She'll learn,
okay.
but it's okay. Like,
Okay.
and John wraps his arms around he wraps his arms around Nate and gives him an old rustles his hair with his knuckle, gives an old noogie, and he immediately goes and after that Jolene, who's also been moved up here for safety, Jolene jumps into Nate's arms and he picks it up. Hey Sprout, how have you been? And she giggles and tells him about all of the fun that she's had over the last couple of weeks as she's seamlessly hoisted up onto Nate's shoulders. And John smiles, and he, as Sylvia comes closer, he says, "Come here, you." And he wraps his arms around her, and he plants a big old kiss, kind of dipping her in the process, because fuck yeah. And as that's all happening, Davian, you run up, and your parents, you almost see like they almost look older than they did last time you saw them, by the way. Like, maybe it's because you haven't seen them in a while, but they almost seem older. But as you run up to them, they both catch you. And
See? Told you I'd be back.
I don't even know what to say, Delia says. I'm so glad that you're home safe.
I'm glad everything is alright over here. And for the most case. I heard about what happened with former mercenaries.
Yeah, Richter says. But I suppose such things are to be expected. But some of my old friends, some of the others who have retired over the years, have actually come back and reconnected. Not all of them, but a couple. But it's good to see you, son.
Right. The feeling is mutual. He shakes his head. Anyway, there's actually someone you should meet. Or rather, someone you've already met.
And as you turn around, Piper is kind of nervously, hands behind her back, kind of waves. And Delia's hand comes up to her mouth. By the goddess. You.
Small Orn.
You must be Liliana then. And Piper scratches the back of her neck and it's nice to meet you. Again, I suppose. and she comes up behind you, Davian, and she smiles and she offers a hand to Delia, and Delia shakes her head and says, "Nice try." And Delia will give her a tender hug. It's it's wonderful to meet you again. I hope that you got to meet your mother before on the way in. And Piper nods. I'm glad I got to. So, I'm glad to meet you too. We didn't talk much, but before she had to go, but she told me how much the two of you meant to her, and well, it's a real honor to meet the two of you. And she looks over to Davian and we should probably tell them about a thing. And well, there's something else that you might want to know about.
What was that? I cut out.
Oh, there's something else that you guys might want to tell them regarding the two of you.
Oh, and he grabs her hand. Well, we're courting.
And they get a dumbfounded look, and they look at each other, and then they look back to you and smile. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised at that, should I?
No, I guess not.
Small horn indeed. Well, I would say welcome to the family, dear, but I dare say you've been a part of it for a lot longer than any of us have quite realized, haven't you? Thank you, ma'am. You're really too kind. And please don't call me ma'am. Delia's fine. And she'll smile again as they kind of meet them, and then at that moment, Alstro, you've gathered Etney and Jacob.
Well, speaking of family, I believe I had one promise to uphold to you, right, Davian?
I guess. Do need a bit of a refresher. It's been quite a trip.
And gestures.
And Etney walks forward.
Davian's eyes widen, and he's just quiet as he slowly approaches Etney.
And she kind of looks you up and down for a minute.
No clothes. Hi.
She smiles. Hi. It's a pleasure to meet you, Davian.
The pleasure's all mine, Etney.
I suppose we have a lot of lost time to make up for.
You have no idea. That I don't suppose my cousin is here as well.
So you know then.
Yeah, Jacob told me. And Alstro.
She looks over at Jacob, not angry or anything,
Well,
it's
Alstro
fair.
and Jacob. Among other things, he looks to Richter.
Oh yeah, because you know that he didn't tell you.
No, he didn't.
Regrettably, she's not at the moment.
Of course.
She's out west with Flint and the Ridge Riders.
Though, I'll be heading that way, probably in the not too distant.
If I have anything to say about it, Davian, you'll meet her. Though I suppose if he has anything to say about it, she says, gesturing to Jacob.
Jacob will just chuckle. I figure we can maybe get something worked out.
That would be nice.
And well, Vic already knows a lot about you anyway. Well, mostly childhood stories, because I haven't seen her in a while.
Wait, childhood.
Grin.
You son of a bitch.
I'm looking forward to learning more about you, Davian.
As am I. And he offers a hand.
She'll take it. She'll give you a handshake.
He's gonna pull her in.
Oh! She actually looks surprised at that. But yeah, no, after a moment of stiffness, she'll smile and she'll laugh quietly and she'll give you a hug.
Well, looks like we'll be fighting alongside each other. I'll try not to disappoint.
If you're half the fighter your father is, I dare say there's no way that's possible. And your father's not a young man anymore. She says with a smile at him, and he laughs quietly.
Though we do need a round or two, Dad.
He looks down at his hand, and he kind of he kind of flexes it for a moment. He says, "Yeah, I suppose I owe you that much, don't I?"
Just wanted to show you just how stronger I've gotten.
And he smirks and he says, "I've no doubt about it." And he'll come up to you and he'll put a hand on your shoulder. "I'm proud of you, son. You've done well. Look," he says, just gesturing to the collection of other mercenaries as they land.
Well,
You've done good work.
Well, I am my father's son. I learn from the best.
And you certainly didn't learn from me. Pats you on the shoulder. And he'll give Etney a nod.
Right, well, I think we have a prince waiting for us, and...
So, Davian.
Yes.
Were you going to tell them that you jumped on a dragon?
Hold the phone, John says. I gotta hear about this.
He has a panic look, but he also has this glaring eye.
Not just a regular dragon.
No.
and thus it goes. And thus it goes.
And thus the trap was sprung.
You ass.
And yeah, Alstro, other things of note. We can also, if there are any characters that you guys are curious about what they're doing, even if we don't do anything major, just ask as I go through, and I can kind of describe them and such. Alstro, I know that for sure Tristan would probably give you just a nod of acknowledgement at some point when you passed him. He's helping the other individuals and such. He hasn't stopped helping people move shit. regardless of who of who they are. He's basically helping get
Such a
people
good
to
guy.
shore.
Alstra's like, probably you should take it easy. You still have uh
I still have one good arm, Alstramaria.
yes, but
It's
she
best-
sighs.
It's best not to argue with him.
And he, of course, would say hello to the old commander and all that too.
Oh,
And Cecil, is there anybody in particular that you wanted to? You kind of have already been in a couple things,
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of the nature of it, like by proxy.
of course. Honestly, just popping in and out of things, keeping an eye on Hoden, keeping an eye on Foe. I can't keep an eye on him if I wanted to, and honestly, sticking close to Orion because I don't particularly want to upset anyone outside of the immediate Zodian circle. I'm not currently going to go out of my way unless someone approaches me. So probably not.
Which I imagine you see a lot of people give you looks, by the way. Like, you accidentally catch like people with 1,000-mile stares looking at you, especially people who look to be religious in some sort. Delia being one of the individuals, of course, who is looking at you. But Connor, this seems like an opportune moment for you to possibly approach, because Davian is cool. There's some other people in that group that you probably wouldn't mind
cool.
saying hello to, and also a convenient place for you to ask sad questions.
I love asking sad questions.
Ah,
And so as he finishes recounting the tale of the Necro Dragon,
Connor's just gonna kind of stroll right up.
ah. The Prince of Legala, or rather, at this
I
point,
don't have a title. We're just gonna. I have not been given a title, and I don't really need a title.
Right. Connor, good to see you. You've certainly grown. Not height-wise, but
Are you calling me short?
yeah, I am. He pats him on the head.
I feel like Nate probably comes if the boot fits,
Right.
No, I was just noticing that you seem to be a person short.
Person short. Well,
Where's Oliver?
he's biting his lip as he's clearly holding the shield in his back. He didn't make it.
Connor's eye goes wide for a second, and oh,
A lot of crazy things happened when you left.
yeah, sounds like it.
we showed that monster what did it. What for, though? He died a hero, Nate says.
That he did. If he was here, he'd be quite proud of you, Connor. All that you've done. All that you will continue to do.
Yeah, I can only hope so.
I mean, not only did you bring a portion of your loyalists to rally with the rebellion, you've clearly challenged the Magisters. It takes a lot of courage, with a bit of recklessness.
Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted.
Hey, you're not getting to interrupt. In fact, I was planning on talking to you. I heard you were looking for some mercenaries.
Yeah, where'd you hear that from?
Got a letter from the prince, though that isn't you.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. Whatever your plan is, I'll be sure to get it done. You have my word.
Plus, I think your mother would actually beat you.
Wait, what?
He just kind of looks over to Delia.
We've, yeah,
Night.
night. Well, how about we, catch up some other time? I do need to check on a former mercenary, I think. Unless she... Never mind. I need to speak to Rinsu.
Oh.
Which, good work, by the way. You kept your
She
promise.
found me. It was not.
Well, you've kept your safe after that.
Davian, she's still being tracked.
Then let them come.
Yeah, Rinzu, Eve, last time I saw her was over by Cecil, who is much easier to find.
Oh, I bet. Alright. Well, I'll leave you and the rest of the mercenaries in your care. Sure, a lot of them have a lot of things to say.
And yeah, that's probably a good time for you to, in fact, go over to Rinzu.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see you're in. Glad to see you're in one piece. I apologize I didn't get here sooner.
She's going to cross her arms. It's about time.
You know, a lot of things happened. But I understand if you're mad. Though the constant pestering of Amara and Marilyn telling me when we're heading back to Legala didn't exactly help.
You can obviously see that she is still, like, looking to see if she can find them.
Don't worry, they're coming. But, I've, actually have your contract right here. And he offers it back to her. I'm sure a lot has happened, and
I mean, you'd obviously see, like, Wes, like, right next to her, like...
I'm just...
A lot has happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it. He's no emotion at Weston. Just
I suppose this might be a good time for me to introduce myself. Though
I already know who you are.
I understand. You were under no obligation to trust me. I know who I am and what I've done. But know that I fully intend to do what I can to make all of this right.
Of course. Well, it's nice to see you've learned from your egregious decisions. And I don't think I need to remind you what happens if you do something like that again.
I understand.
Good. But in any case, glad to see you're okay, Rinzu.
Thank you, Commander.
Thought I told you to just call me Davian. And if you're calling me Commander, that means you're planning on sticking around as a mercenary.
We'll see what happens. No promises yet.
I'm aware. We'll deal with whoever. Oh, I already know. Liao, was it?
Westland kind of scowls at the name.
Oh, trust me.
Bitch.
We will deal with her.
In fact, Hiei, if you wanted to conveniently show up here,
Oh my
Speaking
god.
of which,
good.
I think there's someone I think you'll want to meet. Should
Fully
be
intend
here.
to deal with her
Up.
as soon as the time comes.
Oh, there he is.
She's actually going to like swear in Fangronese. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this is EA. He's an actual ambassador of Fengrungu.
My apologies. I didn't mean to startle, and he'll give a bow.
Right.
Hiei Jian.
Rinzu.
Pengao Zhangjian Diani.
I was gonna say I need translations here.
I don't know what that
because
means.
I don't know
I got
this.
you.
You don't actually
I
know
got you.
Chinese because you're playing a character who speaks like fantasy Chinese? Come on.
Come on.
Oh my god.
Come on.
So it's a pleasure to meet you too in Fangronese.
Although I have to admit, I'm glad to see you safe and not captured. He sort of glances over to Davian.
I still don't know how she got out, but it'll be a story.
She's going to look at it thanks to him.
In any case, I would like to, and he sinks to a very deep 90-degree bow, formally apologize on behalf of the nation of the Valley of Prosperity for any malcontent and or mistreatment that has been done to you. Please know that in all expedience, I will rectify. No. Eliminate this threat on this country's people.
She nod.
And in all hopes, see you back home where you belong.
Her ears will twitch at that, like.
And at that moment is when you hear a voice call your name, Rinzu. And Marilyn and Amara make their way up towards you and your little.
She is going to run up to those two and hug them.
And yeah, Marilyn obviously gets calls first dibs, and she gives you a hug, and it's like, I thought we were gonna have to drag you out of a cell somewhere. You're just here greeting us on the pier.
I'm so happy to see you both.
And Amara smiles, and she says, "You're right about that." And to think, I've been practicing how to pick locks and talk to nobles the whole way over here, thinking I might have to try and bust you out of some cage or something. And then she freezes, and she narrows her eyes. Is that him? She says, gesturing with her head past you towards Westland.
She's going to be quiet first, like. Yes.
She puts a hand on your. Amara puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "I'll be right back."
No.
And she's
going
steps
to grab
past
her
you.
arm.
Can you make an athletics check real quick? It's gonna be against oh god, what's her coordinate? She's probably got it'll be 2 red and 2 purple. She's pretty slippery. She slips out from your grip, and she like moves with gusto as she approaches landing, and you and Marilyn share a look, and oh boy, and you guys like run after her, and Westland is just kind of standing there, and as Amara storms towards her, he's just kind of like looking, and he kind of blinks, and then before you can reach her, you can see it kind of dawn on him what's going on as soon as she grabs him by the collar and pulls him down straight to his face. Like, basically, like, grabs him and basically yanks him by the collar down, like, directly into her face. Westland, And Westland freezes, by the way. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't put you under a good little bit of surgery right now. And he kind of swallows, and you must be Amara, yes? Oh, bloody hell, you know my name. Can you please let go? No.
I've caught up to her now. Amara, let him go.
And just why the bloody hell should I do that? You don't both know what this fucker did. Look, please, can you please put the knife down? And Rinzu, can I have you make a charm check real quick? Just against 2 difficulty.
Okay.
She's not particularly difficult to convince if she likes you.
Can I get another boost dice because she does?
Yeah, I'll give you that. And she narrows her eyes at Westland, and she like half lets go of his collar, half shoves him off. And she, of course, retracts the knife from him in another location that she was threatening. And just don't get any funny ideas, I wonder that I could get one of these where I could do anything. Understood.
Rinzu is like giving the "I'm so sorry" look to Wes right now.
He shakes his head. Honestly speaking, it's first off, it's nice to meet you. I didn't know that I had any other. I didn't know that I had any cousins. But you're completely right. And by all rights, if you think that there's not anything that I could actually do to make any of this right or good or anything really. And I understand that you hate me and should, and I don't blame you. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you think that killing me would be for the best, then I technically shouldn't be allowed to stop you. But I want to help. And if you could let me help, that would be... Then maybe we could prevent we could prevent idiots from making more mistakes like from hurting the people they care about, and we can stop people like Rinzu from being victims. She crosses her arms. You better hope you be living up to your word, Wes. Otherwise, I want to show you what a real victim looks like. And she kind of like plays with a knife, plays with her knife like between her fingers for a second before she like flips it around and sheaths it. And she and Westland exhales, and Amara goes to turn away, and then she quickly jukes back at Westland, kind of like fakes him out for a second, and Westland he flinches back, and Amara just smirks, and then she walks away. Hi, Renzu. Here it's you again. You fucking tell me, alright?
He won't.
And she just does the fucking fingers pointing at eyes, points at Westland, and then just runs a hand across her neck as she walks away. And Westland just takes it, like swallows hard and says, she seems pleasant. And Marilyn just crosses her arms and like looks up at him, like eyebrow raised.
She's really not that bad once you get to know her.
I'll have to take your word for it. And Marilyn just kind of crosses her arms and, well, I suppose it's nice to meet you, Westland. It's nice to meet you too. Are you also going to threaten my life? She raises her hands and like kind of shakes her head and it's like, I don't think I could follow that act. That said, I think that all goes without saying. So maybe we can put all this behind us and work together. After all, we are on the same side, right? Yeah, yes, we are.
Please.
And she looks over at you, Rinzu, with a smile. And she gives you a wink.
She's going to sigh. I think she's probably going to grab Wes's hand again, just like, again, I'm so sorry.
Westland shakes his head and says, no, she's well within her right. Not everyone can be as forgiving as you are. And, well, I suppose that's one way to be introduced to your cousin. And yeah, I imagine you guys would, you and Mel would like catch up and
Yes.
such a little bit more. And, yeah, as everything kind of goes, the people are all brought in and such, and the force starts to kind of bring it together. And before the meeting, Connor wanted to do something briefly. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. Because you have a prisoner.
I do have a prisoner.
I helped get that.
And we have a deviant.
Uh-huh. Wait, why me specifically? Oh.
Davian,
Yes.
there is some time before the meeting, and I would like if you would come with me, and we have a prisoner to talk to.
Me specifically. Huh. Well, I did say I would help you. So why not? What is it?
Excellent. We're going to be talking to Colonel Jared.
Colonel? Oh, high ranking. Lovely. What is it exactly that you need me to do?
I would like to be able to recruit him back to us, but since that seems unlikely, yeah, I need you to break his legs.
That
No,
makes more of a coercion guy.
no. If I wanted like somebody to come with me to like just break legs, I'd bring Nate.
It's true.
I mean, if you need it. Well,
I mean, he can be here. Why not? He's the bad cop and the good cop. Let's combo that shit.
No, I just think your perspective will help.
Right, right. I'll see what I can do. I will need to know more about him.
And yeah, so you guys would go to the prison that he's being kept in, and would be able to see him. A stern man, bald, rarely removes his armor, but obviously is not wearing it now. Prince Connor, he says. I imagine he's just sitting on within the bars, unless you have like a room that you brought him to.
You know as well as I do that title is gone.
A birthright is still a birthright. That said, I imagine you did not bring me here to speak about titles and names.
No, I did not. I guess what I really want to know is, why did you choose what you chose?
Every man has his own decision to make, especially in a time of war. I am and have always been a man who follows orders, Connor. Orders and order are what keeps a nation keeps a nation together and safe. Though you may dress up what you are doing in whatever shade you desire. Ultimately, there is little difference in what you've accomplished and what you've created than that which Etni or any of the other rebels have done. Rebellion is still rebellion, and rebellion is chaos. And I am a loyal servant of Legala. That is all there is to it.
So you'd rather keep the status quo, knowing that people just like you will be worse than looked down upon.
Then gamble and hope that what comes afterwards will be better. I'm a realist, Connor. Placing hope that a group of such varied origin and diversity can come to a grand solution in which all are equal is a great ideal. But I believe you will find that such a task will be less simple than it sounds.
He's aware of that. Davian speaks up. He's aware of the challenges, and yet he's willing to continue down that path because he thinks of the people. He thinks of Legala. The status quo? You mean this pyramid scheme, this injustice of civilians? We as commoners make up this country. And what do we get? Nothing. We're just tools cast aside. That's not a country worth fighting for. You need to understand that Connor did what he had to do because he didn't have a choice. Either he played by the Magister's game, or he stood up for himself and challenged them. I'm sure you're aware of the lack of power the former Emperor had. He did nothing because he couldn't do anything. Puppet with strings. And he gets blamed for everything. Is that truly a country worth fighting for? I understand that you care about order, but this is nothing more than slavery. Connor the King of Zodia just came here to assist Connor because he believed in him. Another country. Not to mention a former ambassador of Okeanos. On top of that, more representatives of the Confederates. All these diversities combined, joining for one cause, is a sign that things need to change. It's a sign that we are making something better, a brighter future. But it doesn't happen in a day. It will be a difficult trial, but in the end, everything's difficult. We have to be willing to take risks for something we want. And I believe assisting Connor is a risk well worth taking. Oh, perfect timing. I just got on Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the two of you guys make a leadership check.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and we can use Davian's presence, and you guys both have 2, but I'll go ahead and since you both have 2, I'll give you another upgrade. So basically, it'll be 3 gold dice.
Command.
Yeah,
So
you can get a
that's
boost dice from that.
for that.
It'll be
So
against
who's rolling that?
3 difficulty.
Okay. Do you want to roll? Or
I got to roll on Monday. You can roll.
lovely. I love the pressure of that. Alright, so difficulty?
3.
3, okay.
Add 1 setback dice.
Okay.
And then you get.
We're practically commoners, and he kind of understands the situation.
Well, you have command. You'll be able to get a boost from that,
Right,
but
okay,
probably not from that.
Alright, I'll intense focus. Intense focusing, and then I'm using a light point to upgrade it again.
Okay.
Okay, let's see, what else do I have? Nope, that's it.
So you upgraded that to, yeah.
Yep. Hey,
Jesus
look at that.
Christ!
Well, I gotta make up for that horrible roll last time.
Well, all right.
2 triumphs and 4 successes, and it's my cape. It's clearly the cape. Like, it's the cape.
Jesus.
I feel like Connor's blowing wind magic out of my cape as it just.
This is why I picked you.
Okay, I'm flattered. Glad I didn't disappoint.
Jesus Christ. Hang on. I got to mentally figure out what the fuck I'm doing with this. Hang on. He closes his eyes. What's your name?
Davian. Or Davian Mercer.
Hmm.
Before you think, no, I've never been affiliated with the rebellion. Nor does my relation to Etne change that.
He sighs. I will think on your words. Because ultimately, you're right. What would you do were you in my position?
It would have been disconnect there. What would I do in your position? Well, you have authority. You have people who follow you. You serve. You say you serve Legala, then serve it by helping the people, making it better for them, for everyone. It goes without saying, just because we're revolting against the magisters doesn't mean we don't believe in order. It's what the Peace Corps Peace Corps Brigade is doing. Keep protecting the citizens. You don't have to fight or be on the front lines. You can just as well just not get involved in the fight. But your thoughts should be of the citizens and preventing the war from hurting them, keeping them away from the crossfire.
Colonel Jared, I'm not exceptionally fond of chaos myself. But I also know that if things continue the way they are, you're not holding order together. You're just veiling it. People are angry and hurt and oppressed. And allowing Legala to continue on that way only is going to create further chaos. It's just too bad that we've gone so far down this hole. There's no easy way out.
He's silent for a moment. I've served a great deal of men. Time. Strong men, weak men. Foolish men and wise men. But to hear your ideals firsthand, hear what you wish to create. Under any other circumstance, given your age, I would brush it off as not but fantasy. And yet, I am the one behind bars, captured and outsmarted by your own by the followers that you've gathered. And yet, you did not try and ransom me back. You did not try and torment me, torture me. Instead, you came to me and explained why you are as you are. It's a rare quality that the two of you share. I've always been a realist. But perhaps with the following and strength that you've gathered, perhaps your ideals can be made reality. I will lend you my strength. Perhaps we can restore order to our home. And he salutes you, both of you. I know not what men I can convince to join us, but you will have my blade. And yeah, so he's gonna fucking help you.
Yeah, I would like to nobody's fool that. Like,
I mean, I also have.
You don't even
nobody's
have to roll. Yeah, he's not lying to you.
okay.
You have nobody's fool too.
Yeah, like with all you guys can roll it. He's totally
no,
genuine. Yeah, when you get 4 successes and 2 triumphs, he gives up. He gives up.
Damn them and their reasonable.
Yeah, pretty much.
attitudes!
Like that's kind of where it's at.
You forget, sir. We are.
My God, these young children are so idealistic and right. All right, so he will pledge us because apparently you're gonna lure him in, capture him by getting a triumph on your fucking thing, and then convince him to join your side with 2 triumphs. It's like the dice wanted you to like fucking get him.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
So is our plan now to just kind of let him go and see if he can pull anybody back with him? I'll leave that up to him.
Yeah, he'll do what he can. He'll likely commit himself to assisting what little cavaliers you guys have until you can potentially hope to convince others.
Cavalry.
So
That's
yeah,
what we-
Jacob, you get to work with him now. Isn't that a fucked up, twisted turn of events?
That man was chasing you across the godforsaken west. And
I feel like as the first time he sees you as he leaves, he's just like, it seems the two of us will be chasing others. It seems the two of us will be going in the same direction in a very different manner. Point.
As in going a pace rather than, the me running away, you running after, things being shot, unkind words being said.
I suppose that depends on if you believe that you can keep up with a member of the Royal Cavalry.
Fella, how many times you come after me or Flint or any of our people? How many times you actually catch us?
He doesn't answer to that, and just he would just smile, laugh, and walk away.
I never got in no cage.
And yeah, so fuck, you guys get him. Hang on, let me drag him over to Team Connor.
Well,
David, you didn't tell me you're really good with words.
well, it's almost like I'm a commander.
Good shit. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Well, the meeting's honestly not going to take very long. It's mostly just going to be me explaining to you guys what happens, and largely it's going to be basically pretty much any player character would probably be there. Honestly, especially any of the people here, because of the importance that you guys have. And so early the next morning, you guys are brought together, and the combination of Etney and now Jared's here as well. Etney and Shieldheart will explain the situation. They appraise you guys of everything that's happened while you guys were not here, including the lines that I had described before. And as he goes forward with this, skirmishes have begun to break out along the borders of the territory. Though they've been isolated at first, I suspect that the Zodian's presence here will only exacerbate the aggressions. It won't be long before we have to send forces to meet Millicent's men in force on the battlefield. This war has officially begun. To make matters worse, the Navy will likely continue to try and blockade the ports. While the Zodian fleet that is here is sizable, ultimately if the Legolans bring the rest of their navy to bear, it will be difficult to keep these ports. That being said, provided we can do so, we'll have a great foothold for which to ignite our operations. And he turns everybody's attention towards the table. Beyond the conflicts that have begun to break out in isolated locations, and beyond the blockades, there are a number of things. There are a number of theaters that need to be addressed. Theaters that I believe should be taken care of by small groups of specialized individuals, rather than the larger forces that we will be commanding elsewhere. And he gestures to the first theater over in Western Legala. The first and most obvious of these is to try and reach out directly to the Ridge Riders. So far, they've been elusive towards our summit, and we know not where they stand. To make things worse, the region around Emnet has been fortified even more further by Legolan by the Legolan troops. It's hard to say precisely who you'll be dealing with, in the area. That said, from what I understand, Colonel Jared, the rest of your cavalry has temporarily been put under the direct command of the Paladins. I would not be surprised if they had a substantial presence in the area. Our mission in the area around Emnet would be twofold. First, securing the Ridge Riders and the other gangs towards the efforts of the Blood of Legala, and secondly, to retake the production facilities that were lost by the sons and daughters. These facilities will enable the forces under Millicent to continue producing more weapons. If they continue being able to do this, then we cannot expect to make any substantial permanent ground. Beyond that, I'm led to believe that certain prototype devices were being created. Things that may be able to bring a more balanced conflict in the months to come. These so-called flying machines, if they work, may be able to allow us to bridge the gap. If they are allowed to, if we are able to recapture the facilities and repurpose what work was done by the revolutionaries when they had it. These dirigibles may be able to help make up for our aerial inferiority in sight of the Pegasus Knights and the Falcon and the Pegasus Riders and the Falcon Knights. While the forces under General Borealis's command will certainly help us even the odds. The Pegasus Knights still vastly outnumber us.
Not to mention the Wyvern's susceptibility to magic too.
Precisely my concern. And he looks towards the next theater, and he brings attention down towards the southern reaches of Legala. Our next theater is in the area around Brimrem. As Alstramaria has appraised us, she fully attempts to try and gather what support she can from the Council of Vermin, or at least to ensure that they will not become involved in all of this. But that is not where the concern regarding this stems from. The mercenary company by the name of Blackwatch, a group of individuals formerly working under Richter Mercer in the past, have pledged their contract to Alexis Blackwild, and they've been spotted in the area. Beyond that, word that we've gathered from what intel we have at Arcanon suggests that Ambassador Liao Jing is attempting to gather reinforcements to assist the forces under Millicent's command. We know not where where these reinforcements will arrive, or in what capacity they, or truly what capacity they will be. But we have reason to believe that these two things may be connected due to Liao's proximity with Blackwild.
Oh, Damon raises a hand. Actually, about Liao, I don't think she's actually an ambassador of Feng Ronggu. And he looks at Hiei.
Not officially, at least. He'll stand up and introduce himself. Apologies for the interruption. Hiei Jian, a pleasure to make all your acquaintance. It has been brought to my attention that, and he brings up air quotes, Ambassador Jing is acting purely out of her own interests and through no means any official business of the Valley of Prosperity. It has been fully been brought aware to my attention that she is in possession of a dangerous artifact stolen from the vaults of my emperors some 100 years ago. More or less, it is a loom. As far as the size and design, I'm unfortunately at a bit of a loss for specifications, but it is a magical device in nature used to bend and weave the desires of mortal men and women to its wielder's whims to a point.
A loom,
If we
Westland says. I saw it. When I entered her room, I saw it. She has it. It's there. It's at my father's manor.
it is in my imaginings that if we somehow extract this loom from her possession, not only do we sever her connection to its abilities and its powers, but if this is truly her intent, then severely deal a crippling blow to the opposing forces. No reinforcements means no shifting tides.
And General Shieldheart scratches his chin for a moment, and if this is true, and this loom is the heart of her influence, gathering it would be a boon. That said, if it is also located in the upper city of Arcanon, it's regrettably out of our reach at the moment.
Then I guess we take out the wielder.
I would be very surprised, actually, if Liao moves far from her loom.
She
It's the
doesn't.
source of everything she has.
It's true. I also imagine this is why that she's working through the mercenaries by proxy. If this is in fact linked. The second team, I would suggest the second team to investigate the area. Do what they can to try and find these mercenaries, ascertain what they're doing, and if need be, eliminate them. Removing an important operative from Blackwild's command. Not to mention, if more can be ascertained about the nature of these reinforcements, we can certainly hope to cut them off before they become a problem.
I believe it's her obtaining these reinforcements that bothers me the most. If she is promising Fanrong reinforcements, she is promising things that she cannot physically deliver. Neither of our emperors would send any form of substantial detachment this far west, let alone outside of our borders. So either she's blowing smoke, to turn a phrase, or she knows something that we don't.
That is troubling. And on top of that, Alstro, You also know that the coordinates and the location of Julius Blackwild's manor is rather close to Brimrad. Another complication that you could add if you so chose to.
And I do.
Good.
I see. If Julius Blackwild could be brought, if Julius Blackwild could be brought towards us, it is my understanding that he still has a great deal of influence through the shipping companies. That said, such an additional complication to this delicate situation could prove difficult. As such, I will leave the jurisdiction of that to the team knows. And Westland actually nods and says, "I believe that I will intend to go to this as well. If there's a chance that we could reach out to my uncle, and if there's a chance that I could undo the damage that my father has caused, I intend to be a part of it. Not to mention, though I'm not I'm certainly no expert in there may be some boon that I may be able to help with in some small way."
Well, if you're looking for an expert in Fenron culture, then I can scarce deny the opportunity to give myself to the cause, so to speak.
I would much appreciate the opportunity to work alongside of you, Sir Hiei. And oh, sorry, go on.
I don't know if I would be more used to take back the West or Assistant Brimrad. It fight it either way, I'm sure. And Jordan, actually. You do have familiarity with the area.
I do. I have no doubt that I would be able to help scout the area out and maybe try and track down these mercenary bastards. I'd be more than willing to accompany as well, regardless of whatever else happens. And Shieldheart nods. Our last theater is a bit more difficult to pin down. And he looks over to Orion and Cecil for a moment. You should know. One of Connor's former ministers, Edward Hightower, the elder brother of Millicent the Magister, upon his arrival, has begun to stir up a bit of zeal amidst the faithful of the Church of 3 and 5.
Connor just kind of looks over and he's starting a crusade.
That is the short of it.
And most importantly, of his crusade, he's pinning the blame of all of the rebellion on, and he points at Cecil.
And she, a bit of like a lot of concern crosses her face, but then she kind of stops at all the rebellion on her in particular. And truthfully, I had expected more resistance and far less kindness than she kind of shrinks. I've already been shown on Legolan shores. But but of what would you say could be done?
Well, the scouting reports brought in from Etne and her men have indicated that there are a number of locations from across all of Legala, both in in territory controlled by the blood of Legala and by Millicent's people and neutral territory. The Templars have been sighted escorting priests of high stature, both archbishops and otherwise, to make speeches in isolated locations, speaking out against spreading word of Zodia's arrival and of your arrival, speaking out against the implied connections between a greater conflict and your presence here. This difficulty stirred up even more so by Edward's involvement. Will be difficult to isolate, and a number of different and by the time the group heads out, we would certainly have a more concrete spread of what we may be able to do. But I imagine there may be an opportunity for us to approach at least one of the archbishops, if not multiple. And if you're willing, Cecil, you may have the opportunity to explain your own standpoint. This could be the most dangerous of the missions, as it is the most unknown. The people of Legala are a faithful lot, and tradition is difficult to challenge. That said, having read Alstromeria's most recent discoveries myself, I believe the truth is something that the truth is something that could be a powerful weapon. And so our missions are threefold. The gathering of resources and consolidation of our forces. The denial of reinforcements and support to our enemies, and a contest of morals and a contest of morality and faith. All of these missions will be dangerous, but each of them is as important as the last. In the meantime, the bulk of our forces will begin to press in on pressure on Millicent's forces and show that they know that this war is serious, and that we fully intend to bring it to a swift and decisive conclusion. With the assistance of each and every one of you and the men and women whom you trust, we will put pressure on Millicent's people. And soon they will have nowhere to hide. Are there any questions? If there are any, I would ask you to speak them now.
I suppose I have one. Well, it's not really much of a question, more of a statement. But given the fact that the Magisters kind of know that I know, I guess what could I do to best help? Because I want to help.
Ultimately, what you choose to do is your own decision, Delph. But if I were to make a suggestion, I would not be surprised if your assistance would be invaluable in trying to contact the archbishops.
Contact the archbishops?
If they are in fact some of the individuals who are going out to make these speeches, then who better to convene with them than the trueborn daughter of the late Emperor and Empress? one who is personally affected by the faith that the faith that is held within our.
You are a walking example of a flaw in the faith.
Astronauts.
Yin, not to mention, were you to vouch for Cecil directly, that alone, with knowledge of who and what you are, could get a foot in the door. Something to consider. Ultimately, the groups that go on each the groups that undertake these missions will be entirely up to the leaders of each of the groups and those who they decide to bring. I have full faith that we will emerge triumphant, but we must work together. I would ask once again if there were any questions. And he nods. That it's settled. We will coordinate the groups over the course of the next few days. And from there, as intel comes in and each of our squadrons are confident in their ability to succeed in their missions, the operations will commence. Yeah, and if you guys actually have more questions later, you can actually ask them. The meeting is adjourned. For the blood of Legala. And yeah, we'll go ahead and end it there.